Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. Jo here again. Lovely to have your company. Today I'm going to be using a couple of new stamps that we've got. You see, I get all excited, I can't get my words out. So I'm going to make a design. We've got some new stamps, but I love mixing new stamps with stamps that we've had in for a while. And for me, that's the fun of Lavinia stamps. What you'll find is your new ones will mix and match with your older ones. And for me, it just gives them just almost like more longevity. Anyway, this is the design that we're going to create. And as soon as I saw the new broomsticks, I knew exactly who was going to go and sit on the broomstick. And obviously it was Ginger, the one for me. And obviously the witch's hat, we've got our hanging spider and a flying potion, because obviously a broomstick's got to have a way of flying. So this is the sort of thing. I hope you'll enjoy it and maybe give you some inspiration. I mean, we've got lots and lots of some of our fairies, our other creatures that will fit beautifully on the broomsticks. Honestly, I've had such fun with these new stamps. I'm going to start with Multifarious, and this is 7x7. And I know some of you don't do larger cards, but you could make this a smaller version. I mean, obviously you could use our smaller owl or our beautiful cheeky mice. Lots of things you can make it into a smaller card. But I just thought to show lots of nice detail, we'd use the 7x7. And that rustle was me just getting my stamp block. I didn't have it ready, I'm afraid. It's not good, is it? Now, my versifying clay, I'm going to do my stamping in the Nocturne. And again, nice gentle patting, which always sounds as though it's not nice gentle patting, doesn't it? Now I want to get this angle right because I'm thinking I want my broomstick to sort of go across the page. So I'm thinking I'm going to go for that there. And you know what? If it's not right, well, we'll say that's exactly how we intended it to be, won't we? Lovely. So with the broomstick, we've got two sizes of broomstick, and it's the larger one that we're going to use. But again, as I say, the small one, fabulous for other creatures. I just want to pop it sort of straight-ish. She says it's a broomstick. It's magical. Now, when I stamp it, what I thought was I'm actually going to end up stamping over Ginger's claws. So, for me, the way to get round this is I'll ink up as normal. But with my Inky Binky, again, just my cleaning cloth, I'm just going to smudge a bit of that ink, sort of in that area. And that's where I think his claws are going to be. And then I'm just going to come sort of over the top. Just want a little bit higher. And then we can stamp that. Right, I'm going to go for that there. We'll see what that looks like. And it's just a way of not... Now, I've missed a bit there, but that's fine because I can draw that in. But it's just important. I want his claws to look like he's actually sat on the broomstick. So it's not a problem because I have got the hint here of just where that should be. And I can just draw that little bit in. And we've got a bit of shading on the bottom, haven't we? There we go. I'm just going to put a little line there, just underneath. And then it just looks, and for me that's better than just, and I'm not very good at masking. I could have done little masks of his feet, but I didn't do that. But that's another alternative. And what we're going to do, we'll stamp our lovely potions bottle, and we want the flying potion, don't we? Again, these go so well. And again, we'll do this in black. I think I might need a whole, I keep my stamps in little trays, and they're divided up into different sections, obviously flowers, trees. I think I might need one for sort of Halloween type. Magical, I suppose. I could, mind you, lots of them are magical, aren't they? Right, flying potion, I'm thinking we're going there. Yeah, that looks about right. Mind you, it's flying, isn't it? So it's going to be dangling in the wind. So if you don't get it perfectly straight, don't stress about it. I'm just going to give that a blot now. So I hope you're keeping well. I hope you've seen these new stamps now. They're going to be available at the end of the week. And so I'm just coming in to sort of whet your crafty appetite. So you need to keep an eye on the release date. As I say, you're going to absolutely love them. Now we're going to put some, I keep digressing, don't I? I'm in one of those moods today. Do you ever have days like that where your mind just wanders? So we're going to use our elements and blend some colour around the edge. We've got violet chalk and midnight blue. But first of all, we'll add our moon. And I'm going to use the largest. Don't often use this size for the moon, so it's nice to be able to use it, the larger size. And I'm thinking about there, just sort of behind our lovely owl. And we'll come in with the violet chalk first. And in fact, I think I'll use my brush for this bit. And I'm just coming on the mask first, dabbing it off on the lid as we do. Again, I'm being mindful to mind lovely ginger. And then just move my thumb out of the way. Just add a little bit down here. And then I just want to spread a little bit more further afield. Take the mask away. And then I'm just going to add a little bit in these areas here, using my stencil brush. And then what I'm going to do is just swap. Now I know you're going to ask me why. When I'm blending round the edges, for me, I find it easy to use my blending sponge. I find I get the colour on a little bit quicker. I could use my brush, but I want quite deep colour here, as you can see. So that's the only reason I've gone to my blender, and it'll be quicker. Obviously, I am aware that I do seem to do long videos. And yes, I do talk a lot. But it's nice for those of you, I know a lot of you are on your own, and you know, I do, you know, and some of you are unwell. You've messaged and said how you've been unwell and you're stuck in bed with various illnesses, or and some of them are long-term, you know, you've got long-term health issues, and you know, I do understand when you're on your own, it is nice sometimes just to think you've got a friend popping in to visit. So we've just added the purple look all the way around. And then what I'm going to do is come in with my midnight blue now. I want to really deepen those edges. Now again, this is a lovely dark colour. And don't worry if your blending's not perfect. Now again, we start in the corners, look. If your blending's not perfect, don't worry, because we're going to flick some water, and you know what, that will make it just look like it is wonderful no matter what your blending's like. It's the biggest trick of anything with blending. Tell you what, my arm's gonna ache. It's certainly good. You have to put the effort in. Right, ink up again on the corner. I want this corner nice and deep, and then just up the side. And if you notice, I've gone round the objects. I think that just gives for me, a much better look. I want that corner darker. And then just across the moon here. And let's have a look. How does that look? At least we've framed it now. And then just at the end, straight from the ink pad, I'm going to come in on the corners, just so it's even darker. And then what I'm going to do, I want to do some faux bleaching. So with my lovely fan brush, I'm going to come in and just round the edges. And I like to go outwards. I just think for me it gives a better result. So again, I'm just tapping it. I'm just going to turn this card round. Easier to do it this way. And I find if I hold my brush on the inside, look, I've got more chance of my lovely little speckles being on the outside. I don't particularly want it over the inner bit. And then I just want a little bit at the top here. Just a little bit across there. Right, and while that's drying, we'll just spritz this. Now, I know a lot of you at home would wipe this on card and make a lovely background, and I would, but as I say, I am conscious of time, and if we make another background, so I'm just going to wipe it up, so don't look. Close your eyes, look away. So while our faux bleaching is drying, we can add some colour. And for the colour, I'm going to come in with some clean colour pens, and I will list all the colours underneath, but I'll quickly go through them for you. I've got yellow, number 50, and that's for my light tones. We've got a little bit of orange coming in, which is 70. We're going to add some blue, and our blues are going to be in the form of Haze Blue, which is 302, blue, which is 30, and light blue, which is 36. And then we have our brown is 64, which is Oatmeal. We have English Lavender at 803 and Violet at 80. Is that really 803? Oh, yes. And then 80, that seems... Anyway, that's the colours. So for me, I'm just going to start off and add... I'm going to take the lids off these three and just add some colour to the broomstick first. And it just gives what I find is when you're doing the faux bleaching, if you let it dry naturally, you get a much better result. So I can dab it and I can heat it with the heat tool, but while I'm just adding a little bit of colour, I'm just going to let it dry naturally. So I'm just adding, obviously my owl's got yellow claws and orange just at the base to deepen, give a bit of shadow. So we'll very quickly whiz that. And then on my lovely broomstick, I've just added some yellow at the top for a nice bit of highlight. And then I'm coming in with my lovely oatmeal colour. And again, we've got those lovely yellow shades at the top. Now, when it comes to the owl, our lovely owl, I'm going to come in with, let's get my purples. And I'm going to just add some lilac. I don't want too many colours. I want it to coordinate beautifully. So if I have some lilac there, and we'll add these lovely, I love these sort of crest feathers. No idea what they're called, but they just look like the crests to me. And then with my darker, I'm just going to add a little bit. And then come in with the lighter colour and just blend that in. And it just gives that nice bit of depth and shade. And then with this lovely frill around here, I'm going to use my darker colour as well. And these pens are so lovely for this. I'm just quite quickly coming all the way around. And that just for me frames his lovely face. And then I want to do his tummy, the same colour. So again, where I've got my shadow, and I'm just using the lovely brush and dabbing. And I'm going to take a little bit of the dark colour onto the light, onto my pen, and then just blend in that darker area and blend into the middle where we'll leave a little bit of light. And already you're building up that lovely, and to me that's how my colour tones are just going to work. So what I want to do now is add, just going to give his beak a little bit of the orange. And then on his hat will be, his head will be covered with his hat. But I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow, so I've got a bit of a, decide what angle. And then in the lovely area here, I'm just going to add some yellow. And again, I'm not going to overthink this. He's a magical owl, so we're going to have some lovely yellow, especially at the tips here of his feathers, look. And then I'm going to come in with my blues. And then where I've got my shade, and Tracy's done a beautiful job here of just adding the deeper, you've got lines and dots where you've got shade. And what's lovely here is my blue and my yellow. Obviously we're going to get green tones. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more blue. And then come in with a little bit more with the yellow. And again, you can decide exactly what tones to use, what colours. I mean, I have to say, I've seen some beautiful in our Lavinia For You group on Instagram, some fabulous colouring with these owls. And I think because they're magical, it just lends that you can use so many different colours. Right, I think he's done there. I'll add a little bit round here. And then I'm going to put these lids back on. So my hands will come across in front of you, I'm afraid. Get those out of the way. And then I'm just going to pop my heat tool just to check that this is all nice and dry. So bear with me a minute. You want it nice and dry for the next little bit, but at least we've let it air dry. And again, heat from the back keeps the paper nice and flat. And I just want to fill in my label on my potions bottle. So I'm going to come in with my lilac colour for that. And then I want to add a little bit of stamping in the background. So that's why I wanted my card nice and dry. And I'm going to come in with our lovely Wise Owl stamp. Now I've got an arrow on the back, so I know which way round it goes. And I'm going to come in with my VersaFine Clay, my Monarch. Now this is quite a strong colour, but we have got quite a dark background. So let me have a look. Yes, I think I'm going to go first and second generation with this. And the biggest thing with this is making sure you keep it the right way and keep it straight. So we'll have a first there and a second there. And then when we come down here, we can go a first there and a second there. And then let's have a little bit of first just on the bottom. And then if we go back to the top, we'll have a little bit of just that bottom line there at the top, but it's enough. And then I'm going to come first generation there. And then we'll have second there. And the main thing is to keep it with that arrow so I know, because I don't know about you, have you ever gone all the way around doing this and then you get to the last little bit and you stamp it upside down? Because I don't know about you, but for me it can happen. So there we've got that lovely stamping in the background, and that faux bleaching, it almost makes it look like sort of sky-like, don't you think? So what I've done on another piece of card, I've stamped our lovely witch's hat and already coloured it in, so I know where I'm going to put that. And I've put some little foam tape on the back. But what I want to do, just before I add it, I'm going to add some of the lovely white, the pearlescent PanPastel. I've got my little applicator here, and just with the round the moon, again, just to make it look more magical. And we'll use the applicator and just bring it out, look. I love this. It's fabulous stuff. And we can add a little bit in swirls. Maybe some just round our flying potion. Now, because our flying potion's flying, with my black fine liner pen, I just want to, we'll add a little bow here, and then we'll add just loop the loop. There we go. And obviously it's flying, so I'm just going to put a couple of lines so it looks like, there we go. Now I need to work out where my hat's going to go. I'm going to add a spider, and this is from the bugs set. And there are all sorts of bugs on this, I have to say. So if you don't like bugs, maybe you better look away now. Just going to find my little block, and we'll stamp him in black. So his hat is going to go about there, so it's going to be hanging about here. And what's lovely, because she's stamping him on top of the PanPastel look, it has that sort of, it gives him that sort of funny look, which is really, makes him look sort of a bit magical. I'm going to get my witch's hat. As I say, I've got some foam pads just to rise areas, but also I'm using my Bippity Boppity glue and just adding that to the little bit at the end. And then there we go. And we can do the same with the hat. So I'm just going to turn it around because it's find it easier this way. And I'm going to put a little thread onto my spider so he's dangling from the hat. And again, we'll put some little and I have to say, it's just such a lovely, lovely. I mean, I'm hoping it sparks things. There is so many lovely stamps. I'm not going to give it all away by telling you about them because, you know, this is just a little snippet for you so that you can check them out. Just going to add some white Posca, just a few little highlights. going to go over his little whites of his eyes, a little bit on his nose there, a little on his tummy, odd one or two on the hat. And then finally, I'm going to add some white splats. Now, again, with the splats, Posca pens, they're fabulous. Some days they behave better than others. And I'm sure you're the same as me, and you know this. So we'll give it a shake and we'll see. Oh, yeah. I obviously had a word with it before I started, look. And I'm just directing, I'm not holding it too far away. And they show up, especially in the dark areas, if you look, where we've got the dark bit on the corners. A little bit more there we go. Let me just give this a wipe, because yes, my Posca has gone a little bit over. No surprise there then. But look, as I say, it shows up, especially on these dark areas, and it does look like, you know, stars. So again, if you want to add some star stamps, if you want to add some crosses to make them appear more sparkly. Last little thing, I'm going to come in with Wink of Stella, because I forgot. I should have done it before the Posca, but better late than never. Just going to add, because I want him to be a nice sparkly. And remember, your Wink of Stella will sparkle more once it's dry. So there's our play today. And here we have our finished one, which has been matted and layered. So look out for the new stamps. As I say, I've used today the Broomstick, which is from our new set. So you get two there, two broomsticks, the large one and the small one. But you look out, you'll see lots of other things. And I'll be back tomorrow with a few more little snippets of what's to come later in the week. Honestly, the design team have made some fantastic samples. So keep a look out on social media. We've got so much to show you. Anyway, thanks for popping in. You take care. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.